Hey family! Welcome back to the Business of Everyday podcast with me, Aja Venawa. You're in for a real treat today as I'm joined by my two amazing friends, Becky Eramatete and Gideon Fayose. And we're having a heartfelt, honest and fun-filled conversation all about relationship matters. The good, the confusing and everything in between. We are talking about questions like, why do we even get into dating relationships? What should you be looking out for as a Christian in a relationship? How vulnerable is too vulnerable? Is social media helping or hurting our relationships these days? And does playfulness and humor really matter in love? If you're dating, thinking about dating, or just curious, this episode is for you. Now let's get into it. So, welcome guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so we are talking about relationships, specifically like dating relationships. What do you think is the purpose of it? Why do we get into it?
For me, the reason why we get into relationship is basically because we desire to marry, and before we marry, we have to know the people we are going to marry.
Mm-hmm.
So when you make your intentions known to somebody that you're interested in them, and it's for this purpose, basically the relationship starts. You may not need to propose officially with a ring and all that, but basically then the relationship starts because you get to know that there's an interest, and then you also want to find out whether the interest is mutual. Mm-hmm. I mean, basically that's why we communicate it, and then when you communicate your interest and then interest is communicated back to you and it's positive, then a relationship starts. But the whole objective of communicating that interest and wanting to get the positive feedback of that interest being communicated back to you is because you want to know whether, if you want to get into marriage, is it possible in the first place. So I think it's basically for marriage.
Okay, so Becky, that means that we have no business getting into relationship if we don't have marriage as a focus?
I believe so. Absolutely. So, okay, for Christians.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think other people would get into it for companionship, for other reasons. I mean, maybe dating someone that is wealthy or rich and popular. Yes.
Yeah.
So it depends on who the individual is. But I think for believers, the main focus should be for marriage. And then, I mean, the purpose of marriage is also there as well. But the main purpose of dating, that period is just a learning process to see if marriage is going to be feasible between you both.
Someone says that dating, that phase is like data collection. Collection. Yeah. So you collect data. If you realize that the data you've collected is not something that you can work with, then you throw it away.
It's true. I agree. I think if you look at it from that point, then you can go into garbage in, garbage out. So if the data collection period, you don't have data that's good enough, then when you get into the marriage, because it's already garbage at the dating point, you're going to have the outcome that is garbage as well.
So if we are dating to get married, then what do you think should be the length of, time people date before they marry?
For that, I don't really think there's a formula.
Okay.
Or there is a appropriate time for everybody. But I know the general advice is that the longer you date, the longer you put yourself in compromising positions or situations. But sometimes someone sees someone they are interested in and make that known to them at JHS level. And then the person also communicates it back to them at JHS level. But at that stage, you are not really ready to settle down. But the person may have had good intentions though. It may not have been with the lustful thoughts and all that. But for someone like that who is not guided and may end up saying it, they will end up having a longer relationship period. And then even though they will end up getting married, realize that the journey, relationship journey to marriage may have had a lot of challenges when it comes to these compromising situations. So I think it's the main reason why people advise that you don't spend so much time. But I don't think there's really a formula. I think it's best advised that maybe from the university period, you could like start a relationship. However, life is in such a way that you can have your own plan. Oh, I'm going to tell someone in my final year. Then 2 years after school, you may not really have like a stable job. And then you don't also want to take another person's child to join you, and you are not really able to like see the head and tail of it. So you want to wait a bit. You wait a bit, it takes like 7 years. So something like that, you really don't have the control over it, you see. And if you also want to say, okay, I'm going to wait when I've figured it all out, then you're also not getting someone at this point. I think these are some of the clear, realistic challenges that are on the ground. So it becomes difficult to say 5 years is best, 3 years is best. But I think it shouldn't be long.
Okay, but if we have the intention of getting married, don't you think we need to have certain things, like certain basic things established before we say that, okay, since this is the main reason why I'm going to get into a relationship, then I need to have certain things in place
before you tell the person?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what most guys are saying today. Most guys want to build their houses and have cars.
Well, at least a stable job.
A stable job. But you see, the thing is that you always adjust to what you earn. Okay, when the moment you start earning, you feel like, Charlie, this thing is not enough for me alone. You'll be earning 10,000, you feel like it's not enough for you alone. So if I want to bring a second person, Charlie, I should be earning like 30K before I go and bring the second person. And I feel that's what in our generation is really common.
Okay.
Because you start earning, you think if you earn this amount, it will be okay. Only for you to get there and realize that your lifestyle has changed. So even the things you consider basic has now graduated. You see, at first you may not see a car as basic, but now you see it as something basic you should have before you settle down. So basically a job should be okay, but then how basic should basic be basic? Yeah, I think that is where the whole issue is going to stem from.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah.
To add to Gideon's point, I think planning would do the job in here.
Okay.
So as a young woman, as a young man, if you have the desire to get married at any point in time, I think what would be best is to have that plan in mind, because if you're saying you're waiting till you have the money completely, your needs will change as you grow. If it's academics, you would want to like just keep going and going and going before you realize you've lost the time you could have just been doing the dating and all of that. So if you plan, it would be helpful. That's just what I want to add.
Okay. What would you say would be your top 5 things that should not be out of a relationship, considering that you're a Christian?
I'll just list some. I don't know if it gets to 5.
Okay.
I'll say God, first off. I would say effective communication.
Okay.
I would say good friends as well.
Like mutual friends?
Yes.
Okay.
Mutual friends and friends that are not mutual to you.
Okay.
I think it's important.
Okay, so I think I also agree with her on the God. God should be the number one thing. For me, I think the second thing should be respect. I don't think it's only men that deserve respect.
There you go.
That's
what you did.
There.
I think it's not only men that deserve respect. I think both women and men deserve respect. They deserve to be respected. If you respect one another, it helps the relationship move on easily. Even when you're angry with one another, in your anger, you don't attack individual personalities. You just address your issues. Then you are okay. I think the third thing is genuine love and care. Okay. There should be genuine love and care amongst both of you. It's not only ladies who deserve to be loved. Gentlemen also deserve to be loved. If not so, I don't think when we are raising kids, when parents are loving the female kids, they shouldn't love the male kids, but they show love to all of us. And that's because we need love. If we needed love as children, we need love even as adults. So I think genuine care should be what should be. When something is happening to the person or something is going on in the person's life, be concerned. Show concern and be there for the person. And Also to making time bonding, a bonding period. This thing should be key. Like you spend time either going out or maybe I should say communication. But beyond just texting and calling, make time to maybe undertake certain activities together. Maybe you've gone to do maybe some rope course at maybe some garden somewhere. It helps. Like in those playful moments, it helps because we are not always a serious being. It's not the time that, hey, sit down, let's talk. What's your 5 years plan? What's your 10 years plan? What? So if you don't have any plan, no, it's not always like that. But you need to also, everyone has that childlike side of him. So it's good to see that aspect of each and every one. Oh, hey, I didn't know you like this. I didn't know you like that. Hey, you are very funny. I didn't know you are funny. I don't know you are this. I don't know you are this. It's through those things that we get to like see the other aspects of ourselves. So we should bond in a very broad manner. Play, chat, communicate, all these things. Yeah. And then also to let's set boundaries. I think these things are key. I mean, set boundaries. Boundaries in actions you guys will undertake together. Boundaries with friends and boundaries with family. So at the stage where you are not together in marriage, you should know that your parents or your family come first. Until the person becomes, so because you have a priority that family comes first, the moment that person becomes family, that person knows that I'm also first.
Right.
But the moment you compromise on it, it means you could always compromise on family. So your priorities should be set straight, and at every point in time, whoever fits within that priority is number one. So if the lady or the gentleman you are dating becomes family, that person is number one priority. Just as previously you prioritize your parents, your siblings as number one, that person should also be number one.
Yeah. I want us to talk about trust, because even in our relationship with God, like, we cannot walk with him without trusting him, because it's more like we are blind on a lot of things, but we need to know and understand that he can see and he's holding our hand, and so wherever he says we should step, we can comfortably step, and that's because we trust him. So if we are talking about a relationship where, like, that is God. That is God. But we are talking about a relationship with fellow man, human being like myself. How do we begin to build trust? Because without that, there's no way the two of us can agree on a thing or work towards something for it to be successful. So yeah, Becky.
I would start off with friendship.
Okay.
I think if you're a very good friend and you are able to tell the character of the individual, it's easier to trust that way. So you're my friend. I can tell how you would act in certain situations and how you wouldn't act in certain situations. And that alone would be a guide or serve as a baseline to the level of trust I can give you, or how much I can ensure or trust myself with you. So I would start off with that. But it's also good to be wise. In as much as you're trusting someone, I would say it's very important that you add wisdom. So yes, I'm not saying you trust and then at a certain point you're trying to see if the person is being finicky or something. No, I'm saying that you do trust, but make sure that you're being wise in that process of trusting the individual. Yeah.
Okay. Jill, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I think I agree with what she said. And first of all, Bible says you should not trust any man. So on that basis, yeah, you cannot really put your trust in man, because first of all, man changes, and both of us, both male and female, we are in such a way that, let's say, all the time we are constantly being tempted by the devil. Okay, tempted by the devil either to do the wrong thing, or tempted by the devil either to take on the wrong mindset. So at first you trusted the person that, the person may never, let's say a foul word to you. But the devil may have tempted the person such a way that the person also yielded to it. The person said maybe something bad to you, or said maybe something foul to you. I mean, these things happen. You were not expecting it, but it happens. And then let's say with the friendship she talked about, okay, we all have friends that we grew up in school with, we said, oh, this person is my friend because we share certain things in common. Now, out of those friends, there's somebody you call a best friend. A best friend is somebody who you know that they've always got your back. If there's something you want to share with anybody, you can share with them. If there's something you want to, let's say, keep as a secret and you want to tell just one person, you can share with this person because you have a certain level of trust that they are not going to. And I think it's that point where we need to get to with whoever that you're in a relationship with. They should be your best friend.
Okay.
If they are not your best friend, then I don't know. Then date your best friend.
Okay. Okay, so how vulnerable should we get, like, in dating relationships?
I think that depends on the level of trust you've built.
Yeah.
The heart of man is wicked.
Yeah.
But I think you should be able to get to the point where your actions are devoid of things that will make you regret later. So in as much as you're being vulnerable, again, add wisdom. So if I have to share something with you, the amount of information I would share would differ if I have to share it with someone else.
Right.
And so I think until the person is family, no, okay, this is a hard one. Because if you say until the person is family, what if the person becomes family now and then now the person cannot stand what it is that you couldn't share before.
Yeah.
And so I think it would differ from person to person. There's no specific rule as to this is the amount of vulnerability you can get with this person.
Yeah.
So if you believe you trust whoever it is you're dating so much, I would say, yeah, maybe you can be vulnerable, but
But I even feel that it's the vulnerability that usually gets people to really get deeper. Like, it really deepens relationships. At the same time, you being vulnerable with someone is you giving the person access, and what that person does with it is something that is like a risk. It's like a risk. So if you give that person that access, it means that you're willing to trust the person, and then the person, you are giving that person the ability to use whatever information you are giving the person, and you are okay with that. And if the person passes that test, from there, the friendship that you have, it will no longer be at where it was. It will go deeper. That's what I'm asking. Like, someone that you are dating, that you're going to get married to.
you see, like you said initially, the process of dating is for collecting data. So in your data that you're collecting, analyze the data. And no, like, I think, so what we are probably missing is the fact that from dating there's courtship before there's marriage.
Sure.
So if, for the period of dating is more like my friends, and I've just picked one that I would focus more on, spend time with more, and assess the person to see if you're compatible. And if it's somebody that I want to stay with, then we get into courtship, where now everything is like, the entire planning process is, our marriage is probably like in a year, 2 years, and all of that. I think within that period you can be as vulnerable as you can be, but even in that situation, you still have to be wise, because there are people that will end up leaving you even at that point. And it's usually sometimes based off on things you shared in your vulnerable moments. So I would say again, be wise. And it's easier if you're dating a Christian. I'll come back to that.
Well.
Because, no, not someone that is professing to be a Christian,
Okay.
but someone that is actually a Christian.
Okay.
Because if you share an important part of yourself with me and we are having an argument, I cannot in any way use that against you. I cannot in any way use that as a basis to say that you are not a good person or your family is not great, and so I'm not going ahead with this. But I will understand, because I have Christ in me. But if I don't, it will be easier for me to say, hey, no, this is not something that, So you still have to be wise and be with a Christian. Be with a Christian.
Yeah.
And be a Christian too.
Yeah. Be for others what you want
Others to be too.
Yeah. We are in the time that social media is really a thing. It's even more than a thing right now. Do you think that it has impact on our relationships right now?
I think it depends on the personalities.
Okay.
First of all, if there are some personalities who are unperturbed about social media, not all young people are on social media.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, majority of the young people consume social media content, but not all of them. There are some of them who are, aside WhatsApp, they are nowhere. Aside WhatsApp, they are nowhere. So they really don't see these pressures and all that. So it doesn't really get to.
It's social media.
Well, it has a community where people give comments and other things. So we can classify it as social media. You have people who are not in those spaces. But for those who are there, yes, they are pressured. They are pressured because they see somebody who is at their age, who is getting married, or who is into certain relationship, is doing this, is doing that. And then they also profess they are Christians. It's wondering, why can't I do the same thing? And why is that for us? Like, it's so rigid, it's so this, it's not fun, like a whole lot. But I think we need to appreciate that we are different personalities, and every relationship and subsequently every marriage is different. So we need to understand that. When we understand that whatever that is happening on social media, we know that people are just doing it for. See, relationship is not something that needs to be a public thing that everybody needs to be aware about. If the key people in your life are aware about it, I think it's okay. Your parents, maybe certain key people you hold, you have that respect for, it's fine. But to put it on social media, it means you are looking for something else. What happens if it ends? You come to social media again. I mean, exactly. I mean, your social media in-laws. So, the in-laws there will be waiting for you. Some of them will be happy, some of them will show you.
But wait, so you come to your question. So let's say that you don't like social media,
Yeah.
but you find yourself in a relationship with someone who is
In
in
social
quotes
media.
obsessed. Yes, social media, likes to be posted. So the person you are dating wants you to display her all the time, and that's her love language. That's what she recognizes as you showing her love. So what would you do about that, since that's not something you like and that's something she likes? How are we going to manage that?
I think before you start dating somebody, you should befriend the person.
Okay.
You know the person's like mannerisms, likes, dislikes. Not entirely, because the person may not have opened up to you fully. So sometimes some of the things you don't get to know until you start dating. Sometimes some of the things you don't even get to know until you get married. So yeah, you need to have a certain level of friendship. Sometime in that friendship period, you will get to know that. So if you're in a relationship with her, Charlie, you have to display. You have to display. She doesn't care whether you don't post anything or not. You have to post her. And every day she will call you. Have you posted me? Have you posted me? Even sometimes, the small friendship that you be cry, when you are going around, the way she will be holding you around and all that, you get to know actually this person. If you enter into a relationship with her, this is what you are in for. As to whether it's wrong or not, it's dependent on you. Is that what you want? If that's what you want, you go for it and comply.
So will you end a relationship because your girl wants you to be posting and you are not social media fan?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so you compromise.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that is worth like ending. I think people mature. Sometimes these things are. Yeah, I think.
Those of us who are posting, then it means we are not mature.
Not entirely. You see, not entirely, but to what end? Like, to what end? What do you want? What's the objective? What inspiration are you giving to people?
Well,
What's inspiration?
So I think we are looking at social media from a view of being a bad source or something. Because from what you're saying, it looks like it's not good enough. But there are people that are actually using social media effectively.
Yeah.
Right? Case in point, Ajwa. So what I would say is, it depends on what you're consuming on social media. That's like how much it can influence your relationship. It depends on what you're consuming and the people you're following, right? Because all those things come into play subconsciously. you're building your mind in the way of life of these people. So I would say if you're following people that are building up your faith and things like that, I mean, there's so many people now, so many. Case in point, this very podcast. So I think it depends on people. It can be a very powerful tool. I have learned so much from people that I listen to on social media, and they have had a way of shaping my mind and viewing dating and relationships and marriages. And so I think depends on, but then it can influence it badly though. Very, very badly, because you want, it's not just post me every day, but you want to have what some people are having. But it could be a facade, it could be a lie, right? So I think it can be balanced if you're following the right people. And I think I recently watched a video where the woman was saying that if you're following people that you're not really looking out for whether or not they are giving you the right content, before you know it, your mind is bled up with the truth and the lie. Before you know it, you are beginning to accept the things that are not true, the things that are not supposed to be. But it's because you keep consuming those things. So it depends on how you're using social media.
I agree.
Yeah, that's true. So what would you say that our past experiences, maybe childhood experiences and general past experiences, even with relationships, they have like impact on the current relationships?
Oh yes. Human beings are like AI. Yes, human beings are like AI. AI because AI is you just feed AI with like a lot of content. So AI gets to know that, let's say if you're using AI to detect cancer, you put a lot of entries of cancer situations. So when it sees, when you put in certain symptoms or it takes certain pictures, because of the kind of entries it has gotten, it's able to say, okay, this is cancer. For someone growing up, if this is what they were seeing and they connoted it to something negative, it's very difficult for you to tell them that this can connote to something positive. Okay, someone can be in a room with someone alone because for them, they've never been since they were young, the situation they've been in where they were in a room with somebody alone was not a pleasant thing. Since then, they do not want to be in a room alone with somebody. So things like this triggers someone in a wrong manner. So what you experience in your previous relationship adds to who you become. It just takes sometimes some therapy, counseling, and the Spirit of God for you to be able to overcome certain things. People say that, men are the same. Because she's dated like 2 guys. Just 2. And she's concluded that over billions of men in the world, they are all the same. I'm like, goodness, just 2 people. But that's her conclusion. See, that's the AI aspect of that person. So that's what they've been fed with. So we should be careful about the previous relationships. Oh, Charlie, when I was with Kofi and I was with Kojo, hey, they've been opening the door for me. Only you. You never opened the door for me. So this one may be giving the money, but may not be giving it as frequently as the others, or maybe as huge as the others, or may not even be giving at all. And they have a problem with it.
You want money whilst you're dating?
What some people do. Some people do. Some people say it's part of the amamre.
I see. What I would like to add is that is why being a Christian gives you a very good advantage. Because in as much as you may have had bad experiences, or even good ones, with people you've dated in the past and everything, if you're able to bring the pain and the hurt and all those things before Christ, He's able to heal you. So that gives you an advantage and it makes you whole and allows you to be able to accept love from another person. But if you're holding on to the past experiences and expecting every other thing to look like before, you will struggle. Not even might, you will struggle. But if you're able to lay it at the feet of Christ and say, this person did this to me, I know I had like these bad experiences, I believe that there's something good that you can give me. And I want you to free me of all of those negative things that I experienced and give me something new, something fresh, something good, something that's from you. I believe that God can do it for you.
Okay, so there are people who actually cannot stand being single, and right from one relationship, they just jump onto the next.
Yeah.
From this one to the next. So how do, like, maybe if there's someone who is watching us and is dealing with such a thing as this, what would you say to them?
I would say, okay, maybe an advice.
Okay.
It might sound like a cliche, but it's not. Find Christ. Because honestly, there's no one that would love you as much as Christ does. Mm-hmm. And if you're able to fully understand that level of love, it allows you to not settle for anything. But if you are dilly-dallying in your relationship with God and you're not too sure, certainly, if anything that comes that is less, you will just fall to it because you've not really truly experienced the true love of God. And so, find God, know God, and have God. I guess that would be a very good starting point to be able to love yourself as an individual and allow you to be able to live with yourself and be content with yourself such that you don't just move from one point to the other. I think if you're leaving a relationship, you should have a period of assessment, introspection, understanding yourself, understanding the differences, knowing what went wrong, and then finding how you can get out of those patterns or whatever it is that caused it. Mm-hmm. So that when you're getting into the next one, you're not bringing garbage from somewhere else, right? Yeah. You're whole and new. And this is a whole new experience. Yeah, and it will only come from Christ. And it is not even a lie.
It's true. That's true.
I think I agree with her. I mean, if you read the Bible too, one of the things that is very common is the woman at the well. It's a story that we are very common with, the Samaritan woman. I mean, she had 5 husbands, and Christ acknowledged that they were her husband. He says, you've had 5 husbands. The one you are currently with is not your husband. Maybe that's her side guy or her boyfriend. But clearly you could see that this was a woman that could not be alone. She moves from one man, she'll go and marry another man. She moves from another man. Now, she's not going to get married to you. Then she says, okay, let me get a boyfriend. So she got a boyfriend, a side guy. So that's basically like someone in that situation. She met Christ and her life was different. Her story was different. The next thing is that you should seek help. You should be able to open up to people. Sometimes, because such people have been in other relationships that didn't work, and then initially their parents were telling them about it, and then their parents were telling them about it. They felt like their parents were against them, so they find it very difficult to go back and confide in their parents because they felt like, oh, we fought over this issue. But the very first thing is that our parents are the first set of people who really care about us in such situations, so they should seek help from them, seek help from psychologists, their pastors, and people around them that they respect. They will get support.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my very last question is going to be the role of humor and playfulness in relationship, making it a very healthy one. So how do we do this? And also maintaining what is very important to, most guys, if not all guys, respect. Because there's some kind of play
all humans.
Well, yeah, all humans, yeah. There's some kind of play that's actually, it's not play at all. Yeah. But then you feel like the person should get it, but the person didn't get it. So how do we actually have that great relationship and also have that playfulness and humor here and there?
I think
okay, now you go.
Okay, so yeah, playfulness, humor, I think they are very important. We can't be serious all our lives, We should be able to. And I don't even think that's possible. Because when someone is your friend, it's because you are relaxed around the person. Yeah. You can be relaxed. You are comfortable. When you want to show vulnerability, it means that you can do things carefree. You see.
No, I'm laughing because I remember when we did the boundaries thing. You said that you, for the one that you are going to marry or the one that you are going to do every Saturday.
Every Saturday what?
Evangelism.
Hey. I said that one. I said it. Then I forgot. I forgot. Maybe it's just a suggestion. Because me, I don't do it too. Because me, I don't do it.
I see.
Oh God.
Okay, so yeah, you need to be friendly towards each other. You need to crack jokes. You need to show some sense of humor. It helps the person be calm around you, the person not to fear you. And I don't think that thing even breeds disrespect. I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think it does. But it helps. It helps when you see that playful aspect of each other. It helps. Hey, so I didn't know you could fool this way. I didn't know you could fool that way. Yeah. You see that aspect of the person. You also see the aspect of the person when the person is serious and all. But it should all be in the context of the faith. Some jokes are expensive. Some humors are also quite expensive. And then, so you know the one that you can do and the one that you know that maybe it's too far off. Also, too, you have to study the personality of the person.
Yeah.
There's this thing that, let's say, typically in African homes, the way we are raised is quite different. You can go and play with, let's say, a child goes to play with their mother. Maybe you are doing a prank, you chop some slaps. You see, that's the child trying to play humor. It's the same thing like in marriage. There are some men or some women, go and do some pranks on them. Charlie, you will not sleep in their house that day. They will not forgive you. They will not take it lightly. So you just weigh the personality of the person. Know what kind of humor will work on this person, what kind of humor will not work on that person. Yeah. So it shouldn't be a free range. It shouldn't be a free range.
You want to add anything to it?
Well, I think if okay, coming from what he's saying, if it's not well accepted by the other person, I think you can easily communicate it. It would help. So, I don't like the way you played with me the last time. I don't like what you did with this, that. It will help the person to know how far is too far. I guess that's all I want to add.
Yeah, because sometimes you see like some older folks, like the kind of relationship they have, and you're like, nah, this is not something I really want to have in, because it's more like a master servant kind of relationship where, because if both of you don't joke or smile, then it means that if there's even a decision to be made, you make it and you just say, okay, I've done this, so you go along, and the other person doesn't say a word, and you're living in the same house. I mean, how? So yeah, I think that's true. So is there anything that finally you would want to say so that Becky will sign out for us?
Okay. So what I'd love to add, the final thing I'd love to add is on the aspect of the vulnerabilities. I think that it's something that we should be careful about on how much we can be vulnerable to a person. Vulnerability in what sense, and vulnerability to what level. Okay, so if you are dating, you're in a courtship period, I trust. Let's say, growing up, anytime somebody is my best friend, the person is a male.
Okay.
Because I usually found myself around males, so I have a male best friend who I play football with and all that. But as you grow, and in our world today, if you're a male, you have a male best friend, and we can't be too happy. Especially if you're a young person, you can't be too happy. If you're female, you have a female best friend, so you can't be too happy. But
no, you can.
Really?
It's lesser for the females.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh yes.
I didn't know, but yeah. So it's so even your best friend. Okay, if I have a male best friend, I can be vulnerable to that male best friend in such a way that if you go anywhere, we go for an excursion, I can decide to sleep or we can pass the night together. But it's not the other way around. That vulnerability can be replicated, and it's not because I trust my that male friend over the person I'm dating. It's just that we've decided to set certain boundaries. I'm not that I don't trust you, or you will kill me, or you strangle me at night, or something will happen. But we are just protecting each other because of certain things that it could lead to. Yeah, and then the information you give out when it comes to vulnerability, at the early stages of, let's say, your relationship, I think that when you start talking to your other partner about your family, this person is not good. You have this auntie who is a witch. You just destroy your family to the person. It's not the best. So those information, you try to limit it. Don't say you are being vulnerable to the person. You want the person to know. It's not good at all. What if the person changes? You see, and now you accept the person, and now the other person doesn't want to accept the person. The person comes to your eye and the person is fighting them left and right. So it's good we take those kind of precautions.
I would say having people who are like-minded as friends, it would be very essential. Have people who love you genuinely, so that on days when you feel whoever it is you're dating is messing up and all of that, you can easily talk to them and seek advice. And these people have to be people that want your best interest as well as your partner's interest, so that it's not, if he's not, how can he just wake up and not talk to you today? Leave him. You get it? So it has to be someone that would consider your side and the person's side, and then help you come to a decision that makes sense. And more importantly, a decision that will honor God. I would always come back to the God factor, because I think that's the basis for life. Don't think, it is the basis for life. So it always has to come back to the God factor. Yeah, basically that.
Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for valuable, what have you shared? Lessons?
Nuggets.
Or what? Nuggets. That you've shared. And I'm grateful that you guys joined me today.
Yeah,
so
so
Becky,
grateful.
sign us out and we're out of here.
What should I say? All right, thank you so much for joining us. This was the Business of Everyday podcast, and see you next time. Bye. Peace out. It's hot.
What a rich conversation. Big thanks to Becky and Gideon for joining me and bringing their wisdom, honesty, and realness to the table. I hope this episode reminded you that relationships aren't just about feelings. They're about purpose, values, growth, and yes, even laughter. Remember, be intentional about why you're dating. Know what to look out for. Don't ignore red flags. Don't lose yourself all in the name of vulnerability. And don't forget to laugh along the way. Let's keep the conversation going. What stood out most to you in today's episode? And hey, if this blessed you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend. Don't forget to also like, subscribe, and follow wherever you're listening or watching from. More amazing convos are coming your way right here on the Business of Everyday podcast. Catch you on the next. Until then, live the process, love the journey.